Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. If you're wondering why I'm in the same outfit, in the same setup, it's just because I'm recording 3 videos back to back, just so I can have some videos in advance. But today we're going to do a players rating for Arsenal's recent match against West Ham United, where we won 3-1. Now, there's a lot of good ratings to give out, so we're going to go straight into it. The first player, Ramsdale. Now, Ramsdale, I believe he's had a bit of a quiet game yesterday. I do believe he pulled off one really good save, especially in that second half where Antonio was running one-on-one with Saliba and Partey behind him, but I think it was a fantastic save by Ramsdale. On the penalties, I mentioned before that I do believe Ramsdale needs to at least save up one penalty or go better at saving penalties, because when it's a penalty and Ramsdale's in goal, it's almost a guaranteed goal. We literally have a hologram in goal when Ramsdale's in a goal for a penalty. But I'm going to give Ramsdale, you know what, I'm going to give him a solid... I'm going to give him an 8. Okay, you know what? He didn't do much wrong for this game. In terms of, then we're going to go to right back, Ben White. Now, Ben White, this new right back position, I think he's been absolutely brilliant. When he first signed for 50 million, I was so wary of it because I was like, 50 million, that's a big price. And first season, he's done okay as a centre back, but when he's come into a right back, especially this season, he's absolutely changed the game. What a good player as a right back. He's tracking back, he's going forward, he can do everything. Brilliant right back, and he played so good yesterday. Maybe there was, not even maybe. I don't think there was any moments he was caught out from what I remember, but I think he was such a good player. You know, I'm going to give Ben White a solid 8. Saliba. Now, Saliba, on the other hand, I believe he didn't have the best of games. I believe there were some moments where he was out of position sometimes or running towards Ramsdale because, you know, sometimes he wasn't aware. And I'm not going to completely blame on him. I believe that, you know, he's been playing, he's at the World Cup and he didn't play any games. So I believe he may have just been rusty. And hopefully the rust has worn off from this game. And hopefully against Brighton we see a more polished Saliba. A Saliba where we were used to seeing, you know, that dominant centre-back that can literally, it's like a wall. He's almost like a wall where it's surprising when we concede. So I'm going to give Saliba a 7. Gabriel, I believe that there were some moments where he was also out of position. I'm also going to, you know, I'll excuse him. You know, he didn't play many games for 1 month, so I'm not going to completely blame him. I believe for the first goal especially, I feel like he was a bit too further ahead, leaving Saliba 1 against 2 with Antonio and Bowen, so it was quite unfair on Saliba. So I feel like Gabriel really could have stayed back a bit more. So I'm going to give Gabriel, overall he did play good. I think there was a few missed headers, but I'm not going to completely blame him and, you know, give him a low score. But I'm going to give him also a 7, just like Saliba. Now we're going to move to Tierney. Now Tierney was playing a really different role in this game. He was playing as the inverted fullback where we sometimes expect with Zinchenko, but there was many moments in the game where he was literally playing as a centre-back between Gabriel and Saliba, which I found quite unusual. But I think Tierney, he had a decent game. I think sometimes unfairly he was left alone. I feel like sometimes Martinelli didn't track back and he left Tierney to deal with Bowen and Kufal all by himself, and sometimes Soucek also outnumbering Tierney on that left-hand side. So I feel like maybe Tierney, it wasn't the best performance just because of the circumstances. I feel like sometimes Martinelli really should have helped him. But I think overall he did play a good game. I think there were some moments where I really expected him to do a better cross or something, but overall Tierney had a really decent game. I'm going to also give him, I'm going to give him a 7 as well. Then we go into Thomas Partey. Now Thomas Partey, he's one of my favourite players. I feel like the position he plays, not many players in the world can do, and I respect Thomas Partey just so much because of that. Because that's a lone CDM position is such a hard position because you have to be aware of everything, as well as the fact that, you're left alone. You're almost the anchor and you're the creator of the team. So that is a very hard position. But yesterday I feel like he played okay, maybe not the best of his games. There were some moments where he kept doing these over the top passes, which I found quite confusing because I don't know who's going to header it when you look our striker is Nketiah. So I feel like I did get a bit frustrated over that when he kept doing these over-the-top balls. Sometimes when he just should leave onto the floor, he lifts it up. So he did get a bit frustrating, but, as the game went on, he did get better. Did some brilliant tackles, especially on Declan Rice, and overall a very solid performance. I'm gonna give him a 7. Now we're gonna move to Martin Odegaard. Odegaard, I feel like had a good game yesterday. He looked like a player that was really, he wanted to win. He grabbed the ball, he took the game by his neck, literally pushing the team forward. Anytime he had the ball, you could tell something was gonna happen. There was many moments where he was near the edge of the box, and the West Ham players were literally scared to tackle him because they knew one tackle, one kick on the leg, Odegaard's going to go straight down and it's a penalty. So he had a lot of those moments where he was just dribbling just outside the box, between outside and inside the box, creating, being just a havoc. So I think Odegaard had a brilliant game. I'm going to give him, this is a bit hard. I'm going to give him a 9. I think he played really good yesterday. Granit Xhaka. I think Granit Xhaka had a bit of a quiet game. Normally, he's bombing up forward. I feel like yesterday's game he was a bit quiet. I think he had to be a bit more reserved because of the threat that West Ham have, especially when Benrahma, Paqueta and Bowen. Even though West Ham are 15, you still have to remember the quality they have, and the ability for them to hurt you. You look at the penalty, just from one over the top ball they got a penalty. So I think Granit Xhaka did have a bit of a quiet game, but he did get an assist. So I'm going to give Granit Xhaka also a 7. Now we're going to move to our front three. Martinelli. Now, Martinelli, there were some moments where he got into the right position, but his end ball just wasn't right. I think that's something that frustrated me about Martinelli. But he was a constant threat. I think was a Kufal that he was going up against, just didn't have a break. Honestly, Kufal was absolutely shitting himself. He was sitting in so deep to try defend against Martinelli, and eventually Martinelli got the goal. And yes, a lot of people are going to talk about maybe the goal was a bit of luck, but look, at the end of the day, you create your own luck. So I'm going to give Martinelli an 8 as well. Eddie Nketiah, a player that I talked about in my match preview. He was a player he was a dead man walking, especially after Jesus' injury. The guy had so much pressure on him, especially with that number 14 shirt, coming in to replicate what Jesus was doing. And I think Eddie Nketiah really stepped up yesterday. I feel like there were some moments where I really wanted him to take a shot. Maybe sometimes he fluffed his line, but overall this guy had a really good performance. Anytime he got the ball, constant danger, constantly turning back and running towards the defenders. And that goal, what a goal. I mean, you look at the strength he had, the way to turn his body across the defender, absolutely losing the defender. That defender had no clue. I think it was Keher that was marking Eddie Nketiah, and what a finish as well. So I'm going to give Eddie Nketiah a 9, just because of the pressure he had. He knew he had to perform. I'm going to give him a 9. Saka. Now, Saka, he had a good game. I think he had a better game than Martinelli. I feel like Saka was much of a better threat. I feel what I didn't like about Saka's game was so many times Cresswell was just holding on to Saka's shirt or kicking him. I'm surprised how Cresswell didn't get a yellow card. And literally Saka was getting man-marked by 3 players. You saw Declan Rice, Cresswell and Benrahma all near Saka. So it just shows how much of a threat everyone else now sees Saka, and that is the downside of being such a good player. Now you have 3 players or 2 players man marking you, and it makes you less effective. But I think Saka, he even got the goal as well, which was crucial because it was the goal that got us back into the game. So I'm going to give Saka an 8 as well. In terms of the substitutes, Fabio Vieira and Elneny only came for like 2 minutes. But Zinchenko, I'm going to give Zinchenko, it's hard to rate him. I'm going to give him a 6 for when he did come on. But when Zinchenko came on, the levels just increased. I like Tierney, but Zinchenko, in terms of attacking and technical ability, Zinchenko is just levels above. When Zinchenko came on, West Ham just couldn't get a touch of the ball. He dropped in as a inverted fullback, I believe, and literally he was just too solid. West Ham couldn't get near him, and essentially when he got on, the game was over. But yeah, that's the end of today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys next time.